Hi, and welcome to my lecture series in differential equations. In the previous modules, we have studied various types of first-order differential equations, including their applications. Starting in this module, we will study higher-order linear differential equations. And this is actually a continuation of our discussion about FOLDE. So if you recall, FOLDE means first-order linear differential equations. So yan ang isa sa mga topics na pinag-aralan natin noong Module 2. This time, we will focus on higher-order linear differential equations. So since tapos na tayo sa mga first-order linear DEs, ang pag-aaralan naman natin is mga linear differential equations pa rin, pero higher order, no? So second order, third order, and so on. And why do we need to study linear differential equations? Linear DEs are relatively significant because many practical systems in physics and even in engineering can be modeled with linear DEs. So in our succeeding discussions, we will consider linear differential equations having constant coefficients. Yan ang tinatawag natin ng mga LCCDE. So these are linear constant coefficient differential equations. First, we will discuss the theory of solutions, including the concept of superposition and linear independence. And then after that, we will begin solving homogeneous differential equations. But before I begin my discussion, isang shoutout muna ulit sa mga students ko from Batangas State University. They are mostly second year and some are third year engineering students taking up electronics engineering, instrumentation and control engineering, and mechatronics engineering. Hello sa inyo guys! Aral kayo ng mabuti ha, para pagdating ng bigay ng grades, happy tayo lahat. Okay? So, if you're ready, let's begin! The general form of an nth-order linear differential equation can be written in this way. So, ito ngayon yung ating nth order kasi meron tayong nth derivative here. Nth order na linear differential equation. And, if we will recall, para ang isang differential equation ay maging linear, dapat lahat ng terms involving the dependent variable and its derivatives must be first degree. Ayan. So, meron tayo ditong nth derivative, first derivative, at lahat yung mga derivatives na yan ay first degree. And here, dito sa last term, sa right side, meron tayong term involving the dependent variable y, which is also first degree. So kung ang dependent variable mo ay y, dapat bawal ang mga terms na y squared, bawal ang sine of y, bawal ang 1 over y, e to the y, ln of y. Bakit? Because this will make the differential equation non-linear. Okay? And another thing is that the coefficients. Ayan, here, yung AIs, we have here AN minus 1, A1 hanggang A sub O. These are our coefficients and you may notice that they are all functions of x. Bakit po? Kasi kapag itong coefficients na to ay naging function ng y, magiging non-linear yung equation mo. So, hindi pwede, no? So, if these coefficients are all function of x, then magiging linear yung equation mo. Or if they are not functions of x, it's possible that all of these coefficients are just constants. Now, on the right-hand side, we have a term, f of x. And this f of x contains all the terms involving the independent variable x. Dito kasi sa differential equation na ito, ang independent variable natin ay x. Kaya, ang ginamit natin ay f of x. Okay? So, there are times when the independent variable becomes t. Pagdating sa applications, ang independent variable ay time. So, ito magiging dy over dt. And in that case, itong f of x magiging f of t lang. So, the right-hand side contains all the terms involving the independent variable. Lagyan natin dito. Independent variable. Now, if this term becomes 0, that means yung differential equation mo ay walang term involving the independent variable, then the equation is said to be homogeneous. Okay? So, once again, ano ang ibig sabihin ng isang homogeneous differential equation? Ang isang homogeneous differential equation ay isang linear differential equation na walang terms involving the independent variable. That is why in this differential equation, this term, yung f of x ay naging 0. And in case that the independent variable is t, then yung f of t sa right-hand side, 0 din. So that means yung differential equation mo ay walang term na nag-i-involve sa independent variable. Sir, ito, no. Ito kasing x dito ay part ng derivative, ayan o, dy over dx. So you cannot consider it as a term containing the independent variable kasi derivative yan. So ano ang itsura ngayon ng isang homogeneous LCCD? Ito na siya ngayon, no? Siya ay tinawag na homogeneous kasi yung right side niya ay 0, which means walang term involving the independent variable x, right? Walang x squared, walang cosine x, walang e to the x. Kaya siya homogeneous. Ngayon, bakit constant coefficient? Kasi kung mapapansin mo, lahat ng constants na yan, they are no longer functions of x. Naging constants na lang lahat ng coefficients. Kaya we say it's a homogeneous LCCD, linear, constant coefficient, differential equation. Now, here is a very important theorem about homogeneous linear differential equations. This theorem tells us that an nth order homogeneous linear differential equation has n linearly independent solutions. Okay? So take note that this theorem applies only to linear differential equations that are homogeneous. So kung hindi homogeneous, we cannot apply this theorem. Now, let us explain this further. Kung ako pala ay isang second order homogeneous linear DE, then magkakaroon ako ng dalawang linearly independent solutions. Hindi lamang sinabi na ako ay may dalawang solutions, but rather, i-describe yung solutions as linearly independent. Sir, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng linearly independent solutions? Okay, so I will discuss that in one of the succeeding slides. Okay, but for the meantime, it is enough for now na alam natin na ang isang nth order na homogeneous linear DE ay laging mayroong n linearly independent solutions. So if I have a second order homogeneous linear DE, then I would have 2 linearly independent solutions. Kung yan ay third order, I would have 3 linearly independent solutions, and so on. Okay? Now, let us discuss the principle of linearity. And after that, we will use it to obtain the general solution of homogeneous linear differential equations. Ano ba ang sinasabi ng principle of linearity? So to illustrate the principle of linearity, let me bring back the LCCDE na meron tayo kanina. Ayan, kinopya ko lang. Ito yung homogeneous LCCDE na meron tayo kanina. And ano yung sinasabi ng theorem about a homogeneous LCCDE? And ano nga yung sinasabi ng theorem kanina about homogeneous linear differential equations? Meron daw siyang n linearly independent solutions. Okay. Now, ito yung differential equation ko na homogeneous at may constant coefficients. At sangayon sa theorem, meron daw siyang n linearly independent solutions. So, pagpalagay natin, ito yung mga solutions niya. This y1, y2, y3, hanggang yn, these are the n linearly independent solutions of this homogeneous linear differential equation. So ngayon, ano ang sinasabi ng principle of linearity? Sangayon sa principle of linearity, yung daw sum ng solutions ay solution din ng same na DE. Or, yung daw multiples ng solution ng homogeneous linear DE na ito, yun daw ay solution pa rin ng differential equation. How about, sir, the sum of the multiples? Pwede rin yun, no? Even the sum of the multiples of the solutions of a homogeneous linear DE are also solutions of the same. So, ano ang ibig sabihin nito? For example, kuhanin ko yung sum ng y1 at y2. Di ba? So, may makukuha kong y1 plus y2. Itong y1 plus y2 ay valid solution ng differential equation na ito. Why? Because this is a sum of the solutions, y1 and y2. Okay? So, how about the multiples? If y1 is multiplied by a certain constant, for example, k, that k times y1 is also a solution. So, how do we call this y1 plus y2 or k times y1? No? We call them linear combination of solutions. Even the sum of the multiples is also considered as a linear combination of solutions. So, ano-ano nga ang mga halimbawa ng linear combination of solutions? Pwedeng i-add mo yung dalawang solutions. If y1 and y2 are known solutions, their sum, y1 plus y2, is also a solution of the DE. That is according to the principle of linearity. If I have the solutions y1 and y2, their multiples, for example, c1, y1, and c2, y2 are also solutions of this differential equation. And if I add these two, that sum is also a solution of this differential equation. So all of these linear combinations of solutions are also valid solutions of this differential equation. That is according to the principle of linearity. So since these sums or multiples or sum of multiples of solutions are said to be linear combinations of solutions, then it's possible for us to restate this statement into a simpler form, no? Instead of saying sum or multiples, we simply say linear combinations. Okay? So let us state the principle of linearity in this way. Any linear combination of solutions of a homogeneous linear differential equation is also a solution. Ayan. And for your information, the principle of linearity is also known as the principle of superposition or the superposition principle. Diba? Which might be familiar to you kasi na-encounter nyo ito sa pag-aaral ng electric circuit analysis. Diba? Pag solve ka ng electric circuits, minsan gumagamit ka ng superposition principle. Okay? Yun bang superposition principle sa circuits at superposition principle dito sa differential equations ay related? Yes. Okay. Paano yan? Halimbawa, meron kang circuits, no? May dalawang voltage sources, V1 at saka V2. Okay? Paano nga natin kukunin yung total output? First, ito turn off mo yung V2. So, V1 is acting alone. If V1 is acting alone, may makukuha tayong output. Ipagpalagay na natin yung output ay Y1, no? When V1 is acting alone. Now, if I will turn off V1, no? And turn on V2 and get the output due to V2, pagpalagay na natin ang output na yun ay Y2. Okay? So, we have Y2 which is the output when V2 is acting alone. So now, what is the total output? The total output is just the sum of Y1 and Y2. And look at this. Ayan, no? Diba? Nung inad mo ang dalawang ito, anong ginamit mo? Gumamit ka ng superposition principle. Sa circuits, para makuha ang total output, ina-add mo yung dalawang outputs, Y1 at saka Y2. So basically, they are the same. Yung superposition principle sa circuits ay nagre-refer to sa isang linear na circuit. Samantalang ang superposition principle sa differential equations, it is referring to linear differential equations. So in general, ito palang superposition principle na ito ay applicable sa mga linear systems. Yes. Okay, kaya nga siya tinatawag na principle of linearity. Kasi applicable lang siya sa mga linear systems. So kung yan ay differential equation, linear differential equation. And if that is a system, for example, an electric circuit or a mechanical system, then that system has to be linear para magamit mo ang superposition principle. Now, gamitin natin ang superposition principle or principle of linearity para makuha ang general solution ng differential equation na ito. Remember, in Module 1, kung saan dinefine natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng general solution, sabi natin the general solution involves all the possible solutions of a DE. So if it involves all the possible solutions, we just use the superposition principle to add up all of this with the use of arbitrary constants, of course. So we now have the general solution, y, which is equal to c1y1 plus c2y2 plus c3y3 hanggang cn,yn, where this y1, y2, y3 up to yn are what we call the basis of solutions. Ito yon. no? And this y1, y2, y3 up to yn are linearly independent. Gumamit lang tayo dito ng C1, C2, C3 hanggang Cn na mga arbitrary constants. Kasi nga po, ito ay general solution. Now, if there are some initial conditions given, that would enable us to compute for the values of these arbitrary constants so we can have what we call the particular solution. Okay? So, di ba madali lang? Ngayon, pag-aralan naman natin kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng linear independence. Bakit? Kasi sinasabi na yung solution ng isang homogeneous linear differential equation, dapat sila ay linearly independent. So ngayon, ano ang ibig sabihin ng linear independence na ito? So for us to demonstrate the definition of linear independence, let's consider n functions of x which are defined on some interval. So ano yung mga functions of x na yan? N daw sila. So we have y1, y2, y3 up to yn. So these y's are n functions of x which are defined on some interval. Now to define linear independence, we will use this equation. So we have k1 y1 plus k2 y2 plus k3 y3 up to kn yn. So now, what is the definition of linear independence? Simple lang. Para masatisfy ang equation na ito, kinakailangan yung K1, yung K2, yung K3 hanggang Kn. Kinakailangan sila ay mag-0 para masatisfy ang equation na ito. So that means that if this equation is satisfied only if all the k's are 0, then these functions y1, y2, y3 up to yn are said to be linearly independent. In other words, para masatisfy ang equation na ito, kinakailangan daw lahat ng values ng k, yung k1, k2, k3 hanggang kn, kinakailangan silang lahat ay mag-0 para masatisfy ang equation. So that is the definition of linear independence. How about linear dependence? If this equation is satisfied for some values of k, no, na hindi 0, masasabi natin ngayon na ang mga functions na ito, y1 hanggang yn, ay linearly dependent. Okay? So, ulitin ko ha. Paano magiging linearly dependent ang mga functions? Kapag meron ka daw maiisip na value ng k na hindi 0, pero masasatisfy pa rin ang equation na ito, then, ang mga functions na y1, y2, y3 hanggang yn ay linearly dependent. Okay? So, bakit ba natin tinawag na linearly dependent yan? Ganito kasi yan. May mahalagang implication yung definition ng linear dependence. Bakit? Kasi kung may makukuha tayong values ng K1, K2, K3, Kn, no? Kahit ano sa kanila, pwedeng ang isa ay 0, pwedeng ang dalawa ay 0. Basta may makukuha tayong value ng K na hindi 0, then I can express one of them as a linear combination of the others. Ano ang ibig kong sabihin doon? Okay, pagpalagay natin, yan ay 3 kasi third order yung DE. So, tatanggalin ko na are, no, kasi 3 lang sila. Pagpalagay natin yung K1, K2 at K3, may naisip tayong non-zero values nila para masatisfy ang equation na ito 0 pa din. So, if K2 and K3 are non-zero, then I can transpose them to the other side and I can get Y1. And this Y1, I can express it as negative K2 over K1 multiplied by Y2 minus K3 over K1 times Y3. As a consequence of this definition, no, na meron daw tayong makukuha na values ng K na hindi 0, then I can express one of them, yung Y1, as a linear combination of the other two. Sir, isa lang, pwedeng dalawa. I can express also Y2 as a linear combination of the other two remaining Y1 and Y3. Or I can express both Y1 and Y2 as a linear combination of the other. So that is an important consequence of linear dependence. A set of functions are linearly dependent if and only if we can express at least one of them as a linear combination of the other. So ayan ha, na-express natin yung Y1 as a linear combination of the two remaining functions, Y2 and Y3. And because of that, we can say that these three are linearly dependent. Pero sabi dito, if and only if. Ano ang ibig sabihin nun? Kung matatandaan mo yung discussion about logical propositions, di ba meron tayong implication, no? If P, then Q. Tapos meron pa tayong if Q, then P. At meron tayong biconditional proposition. Sabi, sa biconditional proposition, if and only if yan. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? These statements, both of them hold true. So, that means, kapag daw linearly dependent ang mga functions, yung isa sa kanila, ito, halimbawa, pwede nating express as a linear combination of the other two. Okay? Or pwede nating unahin yung statement na yon. If we can express this function as a linear combination of the two, then they are linearly dependent. So, tatandaan ha, kapag if and only if, biconditional siya. So, you can state it both ways. Kaya naman, ito pwede nating i-generalize. Ano? Dahil nga, sabi natin, ang tatlong ito ay linearly dependent, na-i-express ko ang y1 as a linear combination of the other two. So, if I will make this equal to a certain constant A, and I will make this as a certain constant B, I can rewrite this equation in this form. Diba? Mas simple. Y1 is the sum of a y2 and b y3. So, dito ang y1 na i-express natin as a linear combination of the other two. And because of that, yan ay linearly independent. Pero pwede mo ring sabihin na dahil ang y1, y2 at y3 ay linearly dependent, pwede ko siyang i-express at least one of them, yung y1, as a linear combination of the other two remaining functions. O diba, madali lang? Now, tingnan natin kung paano gamitin ang concept of linear dependence and independence dito sa mga susunod na examples. Show that the functions y1 equals x squared, y2 equals 10x, and y3 equals 2x, ipakita daw natin na ang tatlong functions na ito ay linearly dependent on any interval. Sabi nung implication ng definition, di ba? Kapag linearly dependent daw ang mga functions, we can express one as a linear combination of the others. Pansinin mo to, 10x at saka 2x. Diba? Itong 10x, pwede kong express in terms of this 2x, imumultiply ko lang ito ng 5. Diba? Why? Because 10x is equal to 5 times 2x. Right? And this is your y2. And that y2 is equal to 5 times yung 2x, which is y3. Sir, hindi pa naman yan linear combination kasi yan ay ano pa lang, multiple. O kung gusto mong gawing linear combination, lagyan natin, isama natin yung y1. Diba? Anong imumultiply mo sa x squared, which is y1, para yung 10x ay maging equal pa rin dito. O, di ba 0 yan? Pag ito ginawa kong 0, still 10x is equal to 5 times 2x kasi 0 naman ang term na ito. No? And here, we are able to show clearly that y2 is a linear combination of y3 and y1. Sir, kahit na yung multiplier ng y1 ay 0, yes. No? That is valid. So, because we are able to express y2 as a linear combination of the two other functions, y3 and y1, that shows that y1, y2, and y3 are linearly dependent. We are now able to prove that these three functions are linearly dependent. Sir, is there a way for us to prove linear independence na hindi tayo gagamit ng inspection? Kasi dito ang ginamit natin inspection lang eh. No? By inspection, we were able to show that we can express y2 as a linear combination of y1 and y3. That is again purely by means of inspection. But is there a more direct, straightforward way which we can use to verify whether a set of functions is linearly dependent? Okay, meron. Ang tawag dyan ay ang Wronskian. So, gagamitan natin ang Wronskian para ma-determine kung ang set of functions ay linearly independent o hindi. Okay? Ibabalik ko ulit yung differential equation. No? This is our nth order homogeneous LCCDE. Okay? And assuming meron tayong n solutions, y1, y2, y3 hanggang yn. Okay, using the concept of the Wronskian, kailan natin masasabi na ang mga y's na ito ay linearly independent? Kapag kinuha ko yung Wronskian ng mga ito at ang nakuha kong Wronskian ay 0, then the functions are linearly dependent. Okay, uulitin ko ha. Kapag kinuhanan mo ng Wronskian yung mga functions y1, y2, y3 up to yn at ang nakuha mong sagot ay 0, linearly dependent yung mga functions. And kapag kinuhanan mo naman ng Wronskian ulit ang mga functions na ito at ang nakuha mong Wronskian ay hindi equal sa 0, then the functions are linearly independent. And if the functions are linearly independent, only then can they form what we call the basis of solutions. Okay, so assuming ngayon na itong y1, y2, y3 hanggang yn ay linearly independent kasi yung Wronskian na compute mo ay hindi equal sa 0, then meron ka na ngayong basis of solution. Ano yung basis of solution? Yung y1, y2 hanggang yn. Sila yung basis of solution na tinatawag. At dahil meron ka ng basis of solution, may makukuha ka na general solution. So, ngayon, paano kinukuha yung Wronskian? Diba? Mapapaisip ka ngayon eh. Magkukompute ka ng Wronskian. Paano ba kinukuha yung Wronskian? Simple lang. To get the Wronskian, you just evaluate this determinant. So, if you have 3 functions, y1, y2, y3, kuhanan mo lang yan ng first derivative, y1 prime, y2 prime, y3 prime. And on the third row, ilagay mo naman yung second derivative. Second derivative ng y1, y2, and y3 respectively. And then evaluate the determinant of this matrix. Kung ano ang makukuha mong determinant, yun na yung Wronskian. At kapag ang nakuha mong determinant ay 0, linearly dependent yung tatlong ito. Kung ang makukuha mo namang sagot dito ay hindi equal sa 0, then ang tatlong ito ay linearly independent, which would enable you to form what we call the basis of solution na magagamit para makuha naman ang general solution. O di ba madali lang? So i-demonstrate natin sa sunod na slide kung paano mag-compute ng Wronskian ng isang set of functions. Show that x, e to the x, and cosine x are linearly independent functions. Ano ang sabi kanina? Kung linearly independent daw ang mga functions, dapat ano ang makukuha natin na Wronskian? Dapat ang Wronskian ay not equal to 0. And paano nga mag-compute ng Wronskian? Kunin mo lang yung determinant nito. Unahin natin, first row is yung tatlong functions, x, e raised to x, cosine x. Then sa pangalawang column, lagay mo yung derivatives nila. Derivative ng x is 1. Derivative nito, parehas din e to the x. At derivative ng cosine x is negative sine x. Next, sa third row, lagay mo naman yung second derivative. So, differentiate mo pa ito ng isa. 0 na to. Ito, e to the x pa rin. At ito, negative cosine x. Ayan. Tapos, kuhanan mo yun ng determinant. Diba? Paano nga mag-compute ng determinant? Madali lang. Basket rule. Kung 3 by 3 yan. No? So, para sa una, ito, mumultiply natin. Pag minultiply mo ang tatlong yan, ang makukuha mong sagot ay x, ay negative muna. Negative of x, then e to the x, cosine x. Ang sunod mo namang i-multiply is ito. Ay, may multiplier na 0, so 0 na yon. Tapos, cosine x times these 2. So, for that, ang sagot ay plus e to the x cosine x. Minus, ito naman, pataas. Okay, sa una, may 0 multiplier, kaya 0 na yon. And then yung pangalawa, ito, times that. So, e to the x, negative sine x at x. Pag sinulat ko yan, that's negative x, e raised to x, sine x. Tapos, ito naman yung huli. Cosine x at saka ito. Yan. So, negative pa rin. Negative e to the x cosine x. Yan. Magsisiro kaya ito? Tingnan natin. So, let me rewrite. W equals, may similar term ba ito? Wala. So, let's just copy negative x, e raised to x, cosine x, plus, ito ba may similar term? Yes, ito e to the x cosine x. Minus minus is plus. So, i-add ko sila. 2, e raised to x, cosine x. Ito naman, magiging plus din. X, e raised to x, sine x. At dahil may nakuha tayong Wronskian na hindi equal sa 0, that means that itong tatlong ito, x, e to the x at cosine x, na-prove na natin and we are able to show that they are linearly independent. Bakit? Kasi nga yung nakuha nating Wronskian ay hindi equal sa 0. Okay? So, dito, ang ginamit nating proof ay yung Wronskian. Diba? Can we also use the definition para maipakita na linearly independent functions talaga ang tatlong ito? Yes. Ano nga ulit yung definition? K1y1 plus K2y2 plus K3y3 is equal to 0. Lagay natin ha. K1, ano yung y1? X. Plus K2, ano yung y2? E raised to x. Plus K3 times y3, which is cosine of x. Okay. Sang-ayon sa definition ng linear independence, para mag-zero ang equation na ito, kinakailangan lahat ng ito, K1, K2, at K3, dapat ay 0. Is that true? Yes. Bakit? Kasi kung i-consider mo lang yung functions, yung x, e to the x, at cosine x, kahit anong ilagay mong value ng x dyan, imposible na ang makuha mong sagot ay 0. Kung i-disregard natin ang mga constants na ito. No? Kung ang present lang ay yung x, e to the x, at cosine x, at i-add natin yung tatlo, kahit na anong value ng x ang ilagay mo, hindi ka makakukuha ng sagot na 0. Bakit? Kasi kahit 0 ang ilagay mo dyan, no? So itong term na to magzi-0. Pero itong e to the 0 magiging 1. At itong cosine 0 magiging 1. So may makukuha ka rin sagot na hindi 0. Di ba? Okay. So para mag-0 ang sum na ito, no? Para yan ay mag-0, kinakailangan i-0 mo na yung K1, K2, at K3. That is the only way. Di ba? So gamit ang definition ng linear independence na ipakita natin na ang tatlong ito ay linearly independent. Now, i-discuss naman natin yung differential operator. Ano ba itong differential operator na ito? Okay, we will use the differential operator D. The differential operator is defined as the derivative d over dx. So instead of writing the derivative as a fraction, d over dx, gagamitin na lang natin yung capital letter D. And that capital letter D represents what we call the differential operator. So kung meron kang dy over dx, that can simply be written as d times y. Or kung meron kang second derivative of y with respect to x, that is simply written as d squared y in terms or using the differential operator. And in general, if you have nth derivative, that can be written as d raised to ny, no? Gamit ang ating differential operator. Now, bakit natin kinakailangan malaman ang differential operator na ito? Because this is a shorthand technique in writing differential equations. For example, meron tayong DE. Ito siya. Diba? So, instead of writing the differential equation in terms of derivatives d over dx, pwede nating i-eliminate yung fraction. Diba? At isulat ito in this way. Ayan, no? D squared y plus 2dy minus 3y equals 0. Diba? It looks simpler, right? Okay. Now, meron tayong isang differential equation dito which is expressed in terms of the differential operators. Now, makakakuha tayo dyan ng tinatawag nating differential operator function. Sir, ano naman yung differential operator function na yan? Ito yun, no? D squared plus 2d minus 3. Yan. So, meron tayong f of d at yung f of d ang tinatawag natin na linear differential operator function because it's a function. Okay? Now, this linear differential operator may act on the variable y. If it acts on the variable y, ito na yung differential equation mo. Diba? If it acts on the variable s, then itong y, papalitan ko lang ng s. Okay? Kaya sinabi natin na differential operator yan. But it's in the form of a function. Now, from this linear differential operator function, makakakuha tayo ng tinatawag na characteristic polynomial. Sir, paano yun? Papalitan lang natin yung d ng isang variable. For example, m. So, if I replace d with m, makakakuha tayo ng f of m, no? Na equal sa m squared plus 2m minus 3. At itong polynomial na makukuha natin, hindi na yan differential operator kasi hindi na siya d. Ang tawag natin dyan is characteristic polynomial. Eh ano naman meron sa characteristic polynomial, sir? Mahalaga yan. Bakit? Kasi gagamitin natin ang roots ng characteristic polynomial para makuha ang general solution ng isang homogeneous differential equation. I repeat, the roots of the characteristic polynomial will be used to get the general solution of the homogeneous differential equation. Paano ba kinukuha yung roots? Di ba yung polynomial, equate mo lang sa 0. So kung ito yung characteristic polynomial mo, equate mo lang yan sa 0. At yung equation na yan ang tinatawag naman na characteristic equation or auxiliary equation. So if you have this differential equation, its auxiliary equation is this. No? Yung derivative, papalitan mo lang ng m. So magiging m squared plus 2m minus, kung walang derivative, ang matitira lang is yung constant. Kaya minus 3 na lang siya. Di ba? So kukuhanan mo lang ito ng roots. Yung makukuha mong roots, ang gagamitin mo para makuha ang general solution ng differential equation na ito. Now, let us apply that concept sa paghahanap ng solution ng isang second order homogeneous LCCDE. Di ba sabi natin kukunin yung roots? Okay. If m is a root of f of m. Ano yung f of m? Yung f of m yung polynomial. Di ba? At nakuha mo na yung roots niya. M. If m is a root of f of m, then ano ang format ng solution? Yung makukuha mong solution, ang form ay ganito. Y equals e raised to mx. So that means exponential pala ang form. Yes. Exponential yung makukuha mong form. Kung saan yung m is yung root na makukuha mo. So that is just e raised to m wherein this m is the root of the polynomial multiplied by x. Ayan, meron na tayo ngayong solution. Now, let us use this concept to get the solution of a second order homogeneous LCCDE. Na kung yan ay second order, yung makukuha nating polynomial ay quadratic. Diba? At kung yan ay quadratic, then may makukuha tayong dalawang roots. No? May makukuha kang m1 at saka m2. So, since ang ating polynomial ay quadratic, may makukuha kang quadratic equation. No? At ang quadratic equation, ganito ang form. Diba? am squared plus bm plus c. Kasi ang ginamit natin ay m diba? Sir, bakit hindi x? Kasi nga yung x usually ang independent variable ng differential equation. Kaya, hindi pwedeng x din ang gagamitin mo dito sa auxiliary equation mo. So, remember, this is what we call the characteristic equation or auxiliary equation. Saan manggagaling? Sa differential equation. Lahat ng derivatives, papalitan mo lang ng m. Kung ano yung order ng derivative, gagawin mo lang exponent. So, kung walang derivative, ang matitira lang constant. So, itong a at saka b at saka c, mga coefficients yan. Ngayon, alam na natin kung paano mag-determine ng roots ng isang quadratic equation, right? Pwedeng mag-factoring, or pwede kang gumamit ng quadratic formula. Or the easiest way is to use a calculator, di ba? So once again, yung general solution ay nakadepende sa roots ng auxiliary or characteristic equation. And in our study of algebra, we have learned that there are 3 cases when you are solving for the roots of a quadratic equation. Ano yung 3 cases na yun? Una, kapag ang roots na nakuha mo ay real at saka distinct. Kapag ang value ng m1 at value ng m2 ay parehas na real pero magkaiba sila. Halimbawa, 1 at 3, no? 2 at 4, di ba? Negative 1 at saka, for example, 0. Kung ang roots ay real at distinct, ano ang form ng ating general solution? Madali lang. Ito yung rule, oh. Sabi ng concept, if m is a root, then the solution would have the form e to the mx. So, kung yan ay e to the mx, dalawa yan eh. So, meron akong e to the m1x plus e raised to m2x. Diba? So, yan yung makukuha ko kasi dalawa yung roots ko. So, dalawang exponentials yan. So, kung general solution ang hinahanap ko, multiply ko lang yan ng arbitrary constant na C1 at ito, multiply ko lang ng arbitrary constant na C2. So now, this is the form of the general solution of a homogeneous linear differential equation na second order kung ang roots ng characteristic equation ay real and distinct. Ano naman ang case 2? Ang case 2 is kung yung M1 at saka M2 ay equal. No? So kung equal sila, M na lang. Kasi parehas naman yung value nila. Halimbawa, ang nakuha mong roots ay parehas 3. So, kung gagamitin natin itong concept na ito, may makukuha tayong solution. Ano yon? Y equals C sub 1 e raised to mx plus, paano yan ngayon? No? Di yung C sub 2 e raised to mx. No? Uulitin ko lang. At pag yan ay inulit ko, di itong dalawang terms na ito similar, di ba? Paano yun? Parang may problema. Kasi kung similar sila, pwede ko silang i-add, right? Halimbawa, kung ang M ay 3, edi meron akong C sub 1, e raised to 3x plus C sub 2, e raised to 3x. And because these are similar terms, I can add them. Para isa na lang yung makukuha ko. Parang may mali. Kasi kung second order, dapat dalawa yan, di ba? So what is the reason why the sum of these two cannot be the solution of the differential equation? Because these two are linearly dependent functions. Okay? Pag kinuhanan mo yan ng Wronskian, itong dalawang ito ay linearly dependent. Pero anong sabi ng theorem? Dapat daw ang solutions na y1 at saka y2, pag inad mo, yung y1 at y2 ay parehas na linearly independent. So, that is why hindi pwede ito. Ngayon, ano ang gagawin mo? Ang gagawin mo is, magfo-form ka ng linearly independent solutions. And you can do that by multiplying this with x para sa pangalawang term, no? So, lalagyan natin dito ng x bago natin kopyahin yung e raised to mx. Again, bakit natin imumultiply ng x yung pangalawang term? So that these two terms would be linearly independent. Actually, that is the reason why inaral natin ang concept ng linear independence. Kasi, gagamitin natin yan to explain why we are multiplying this term by x. Paano sir kung tatlo silang magkakaparehas? M1 is equal to M2 is equal to M3 kasi third order. Di yung pangatlong term, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng C sub 3 x squared e raised to mx. And so on. Diba? So that applies even for higher order differential equations that are linear and homogeneous, of course, third order, fourth order, or even fifth order DE. Okay? If the roots are real but repeated, we multiply the second term by x and copy the first term. And what is the reason why we are multiplying the first term by x? So that these two solutions would be linearly independent. Okay, now, ano naman yung pangatlong case, the third and the last case? Kapag may nakuha kang complex conjugate roots, a plus bi at saka a minus bi. So, meron kang real part at saka imaginary part. Kapag ganyan ang nakuha mong roots, no, complex conjugates, may imaginary. Ang general solution mo, ganito ang form. So, you have a product of an exponential and sinusoidal. Kung saan, yung exponential mo, ang exponent ay yung real part na a. So, yung makukuha mong real part dito, yan ang exponent ng e. And then, yung b, gagamitin mong multiplier sa independent variable na x at yun ang kukunan mo ng cosine at saka ng sine. Tapos yung cosine at sine, lalagyan mo lang ng multipliers na c1 at c2 and they are your arbitrary constants. Okay, sir, paano nangyari yan? Galing din yan dito. Kaso nga lamang, yung exponent dito ng ina m ay magiging complex. No? And that would require the knowledge of complex numbers na hindi ko muna i-discuss dito kasi wala ka pang idea. No? Mangangailangan ka doon ng tinatawag natin na Euler's identity. So, hindi ko muna siya i-discuss kasi hindi mo pa naaaral ang complex numbers, baka mahilo ka. So, basta, no? Ganito na lang muna. Kapag ang nakuha mong roots ay complex, no? Kasi may imaginary part, ganito ang itsura ng iyong general solution. E to the ax times c1 cosine bx plus c2 sine bx. Ayan. So, ngayon, alam na natin kung ano ang form ng solutions ng isang second order homogeneous LCCDE. So, it's time na gamitin natin yan at i-apply. So, mag-solve tayo ngayon ng problem. Find the general solution of the differential equation y double prime plus 2y prime minus 3y equals 0. Ay, parang ito yung differential equation kanina, di ba? Una, kailangan muna natin siyang kuhanan ng auxiliary equation, di ba? Yung derivative, gagawin ko lang m. Kung ano yung order ng derivative, gagawin ko lang exponent. So, dito, ang ating auxiliary equation ay m squared plus 2m. Ito naman, walang derivative. So, minus 3 na lang equals 0. Next, kuhanan mo siya ng roots. Ano ba ang roots niyan? Nakukuha ba natin yan by means of factoring? Yes. Ano ang factors ng negative 3 na ang sama ito? Positive. Di ba yun ay positive 3 at negative 1? So, m plus 3 at saka m minus 1. Yan. So, from this, may makukuha na tayong roots. Yung m1 ay equal sa negative 3 at yung M2 ay positive 1. Ayan. Ay, case 1 ito. Bakit? Kasi yung nakuha nating roots ay magkaiba. Therefore, ano ang ating general solution? Ayan. Magkakaroon na tayo ngayon ng general solution. Ano yon? C sub 1 e raised to yung root na negative 3x plus C sub 2 times e raised to yung pangalawang root 1. So, x na lang yung ilalagay ko. That's it. Ganun lang kadali. Meron na tayo ngayong general solution. Nandito yung y. Dapat pala andito yung y, di ba? Anyway, so ganyan lang kadali mag-solve ng mga homogeneous LCCDE. Kaya ang topic na ito ay madali lang. At kung yan ay madali lang, dapat sa susunod na exam, ikaw ay makapasa na para makabawi ka. Kasi kung hindi ka makakabawi, siguradong babagsak ka sa kangkungan. Okay? So dito, ang nakuha lang natin ay general solution kasi wala naman tayong initial conditions. So if you want to get a particular solution, halimbawa, lagyan natin ng initial condition. Halimbawa lang, y of 0 equals 0 and y prime of 0 equals 1. So gamitin natin ang mga initial conditions na yan para malaman ang value ng C1 at saka C2. Paano yan? Padali lang. Kapag ang x na y 0, ang y ay 0. So palitan natin to, ano? 0 ang y, ang x 0 din. So C1 na lang, kasi e raised to 0 is 1 plus C2. Because e raised to 0 is also 1, right? Next, kuhanin naman natin ang y prime. Ano ba ang y prime? Sir, bakit mo kunin ang y prime? Kasi yun, no? Y prime of 0. So kailangan mo ng y prime. Y prime is negative 3C1 e to the negative 3x plus C2 e raised to x. At i-impose naman natin yung condition na kapag daw ang x ay 0, ang first derivative ay 1. So, ang first derivative ay 1 equals, ito magiging negative 3c1 na lang. Diba? Plus c2. Ayan. Kasi e raised to 0 is 1. So, guys, itong dalawang to, pwede kong pag-minusin, right? Kasi c2 minus c2, may eliminate natin yung C2 para ang matira ay C1. Diba? So, 0 minus 1 is negative 1 equals C1 minus negative 3. C1 is positive 4. C1. Okay? So, that means that C1 is equal to negative 1/4. And since we know the value of C1 already, may makukuha na tayong particular solution, no? Sulat natin dito yung particular solution. Y is equal to C1 negative 1/4 e to the negative 3x. How about C2? C2 is just the negative of C1. So, plus 1/4 e raised to x. So, meron na tayo ngayong particular solution. O, di ba? Dali lang? So, if you want to watch more examples, I suggest that you watch the next video which is entitled Solution of Higher Order Homogeneous Linear Differential Equations. So, sa video na yon may mga examples kung saan ginamit ko yung iba't ibang cases. Case 1, Case 2, at saka Case 3 up to 4th order homogeneous linear differential equations. So, don't forget to watch that video before you proceed to the next topic which is about non-homogeneous LCCDE. No? So, tandaan ha, bago mo panoorin yung topic about non-homogeneous LCCDE, kinakailangan mapanood mo muna ng buo yung video after this which contains more example problems about higher order homogeneous LCCDs. So hanggang dito na lang. Thank you for watching. Bye!